Hey guys, how's it going? It's X666X Iron Maiden, and today I'm going to be doing a video that I asked in a post if anybody would be interested in me going through my setup, how I do my videos, just so maybe people that are interested in doing reactions can get a basic look, because my setup isn't top notch. Like, I didn't spend hundreds of dollars on this setup. Besides, the computer itself is in a pretty expensive setup, but when I bought it, that wasn't what I bought it for. I'm a gamer, so it's more, the reason it's top tier is for gaming. That's about it. Not top tier anymore, I suppose, but when I did get it, it was pretty decent. Um, but I wanted to run through just a basic setup, basically, because I didn't put too much money into it, which means others could also be doing this as well. So it's a good example for someone who's just starting, who maybe wants to try it out, and come in and do this. You know, if that's what you're into, you can come in and try it. So, I wonder. Yeah, apparently you can't flip the camera back around once you start recording, so I'm gonna have to, which I think is ridiculous, but apparently you can on iPhones. That's good to know. So, I'm gonna start off with what I have on my desk itself. So behind me here, you can see I have a light behind me here. It's right over the top of my monitor when I'm recording, right here. This light here, it's a square one. It has two different light settings. I'm not going to turn it on because you're going to be blinded by it. You won't even be able to really see it anyway. It comes with a shader on front of it. It can run on batteries. I didn't get the batteries with it. I was good. I was just plug it in. It also came with the tripod as well. It was just over $100 on Amazon. You can just get a similar light. I know a lot of streamers get you'll see it even in reflections. A lot of reaction channels, you'll see the ones wearing glasses. You'll see like a circle. It's like a circle light. It's a little bit more expensive, so I was okay with this. This one has two different type of lights, like a yellowish light and a straight like bright light on it, so I can play with it a bit. That's why maybe in some videos you've seen I have kind of different lighting, because I kind of like to play with it, especially since I just started doing the reactions again in this room. The lighting's different. As you can see, I have white Christmas lights set up because I only have one plug in this whole room and it has to run everything. So having, you know, a lamp on as well and stuff like that, I just don't bother with the lamp. I just have these lights because at least it gives me another plug attachment on the thing itself. So that's what I do for lighting. It's a really nice basic setup if you just want to get started. When I first started, I didn't have a light like this. I had I was using, I think it was a table lamp. I think it was this one right here, if I remember correctly, and I would put it over the top of my monitor and just aim it at my face, and that was what I had started with, which it worked okay, but I didn't really like the lighting. I found it kind of looked cheap a little bit, so I didn't really like that, so I decided not to stick with that and went with just spending a little bit over $100 on that light, and it works really good, and you can play with it, and I've used it for taking pictures of my daughter and stuff like that, and it's perfect for other uses as well. So you're not just getting it for your channel, you can use it to take nice family photos, especially with the newer iPhones and Samsungs. They have really nice cameras attached to them, so it's definitely worth it. Next up, my webcam is a Logitech. It's the 1080p. It's a little bit older now, but I got it a really good used from someone. Someone was selling it. I think it sits around $100. Probably not anymore, because this was, what, 3 years ago now. It's this one here. I'm gonna make sure you can see it, because for some reason I can't switch the camera back and forth once I start recording. But I got it from someone for like $25. She had barely used it. She had it to do a few video calls, so I got lucky on that one. If you can find one used that's barely used, like I did, you can get them really cheap instead of having to spend $100, which is nice as well. And depending on your location too, like you might be able to find a light like this one super cheap as well. So look around. There's Facebook Marketplace and all that stuff. You might be able to find one even cheaper. But in my area, there's not a lot of people doing this in the Atlantic coast of Canada, so there wasn't really anything for lighting that I could find that was really going to be useful. Webcam, though, definitely did. right behind my keyboard here, you will see, you can kind of see it. I'm going to move this. I have a pop filter on it. Just stops any like sounds and stuff like that. And behind that I have a blue Snowball microphone. This I got from my buddy. He gave it to me for free because he was upgrading. I think it was free. I can't remember anymore. Right? He gave it to me cheap if I paid for it. They go for like, I think it's like $80. This is all Canadian, by the way, in the amount I'm saying. So if it's US dollars, would be a little bit less than everything I'm saying. I think so. If it was like $80 here, it would be so probably closer to 65 in the US. It works pretty good. It's great when it's just me, maybe one other person, for just your basic setup. It's not the best. It can peak very easily. Like if you plan on doing more stuff, like if you plan on like really getting loud, singing ever, it's not great for singing. I'll tell you right now. I've tried to record with it for singing. It's not really great because it picks up all the sounds in the room. It's not a direct, like when you're speaking into it. It's going to pick up other sounds as well, which is why it's good for this, because if you have anyone else come in and you want to do reactions with them as well, then it is great for that. I don't have to have more than one microphone, just more than one headset. Maybe for those of you that were on the channel at the start, I had gaming headphones, and I thought that was terrible. It sounded terrible, it picked up my breathing. I remember a lot of people used to say they could hear me breathing when I had that set up, and this really solved the problem. Plus the pop filter is super cheap to get. I would highly recommend getting the pop filter. It does help so you don't have to go into as much audio editing. If you're going to be editing your videos, you should have a little bit better audio to work with from your voice. So I would highly suggest getting a pop filter. It's super cheap. I think they're like $12. I think it cost me $12, so it's under $10 probably in the United States. And this one, for instance, I have my blue Snowball. It's not on the stand because I didn't really have many places to put it. So it's just the ball's just sitting on my Iron Maiden bracelet right now. But it did come with a stand. I just don't use it. But a lot of the pop filters just connect directly onto the stand as well and come with an adjustable arm on it. So just for those of you that aren't familiar with them, it will come with that stuff. It makes it a lot easier to set up, depending on your setup. So other than that, I will say for doing reactions, if you have a very basic computer, like if you have like a laptop that's only a few $100s, maybe up to $500, you might have a harder time with your recordings. I only say that because recording is hard on your CPU sometimes, or even your video card if you have a really bad one. So I would say maybe if you have a really low grade computer, not to bother. Maybe you might have to get a better one, but you can still test it out and try. I know with my old computer, I wanted to do reactions a little bit earlier, but I did not find that they came out very well. They were skipping in the video, stuff like that, because my computer couldn't handle it. Especially now, at least now I can do the 1080p for all my videos, which is great. I wouldn't do anything under 720p. It just kind of looks really cheap. And truthfully, we'll get into this later about actually doing reactions and what you should be doing for your channel. To a certain degree, I'm not an expert on it, but I do have a few opinions on it from just doing it for a few years now and things I've learned that we'll go over at the end. But let's keep going on the hardware for now. For instance, if you have more than one person, say you have someone come on and they come over and you want to do like a duo reaction, if you plan on doing more than one, one good thing to do, you can buy splitters for your headphones. So the headphone jack, for instance, on my computer is right in the front panel. You can buy a splitter that plugs in and then it comes out with 2 connections. You can even do more. You can get some that have like 4 to 8, I believe, and that way you can all have your own headsets. I highly recommend it. Playing through your speakers really lowers the quality of the audio on your video, and that'll be something else we'll get into at the end about maybe what you should be aiming to do for your channel just for quality purposes. So we'll get into that at the end as well. I'll try to remember all these things. There's a lot of little things. That's it for actual hardware that I have. Nothing else other than that for the hardware end. On the computer, I use OBS. You can find it just by typing in OBS on Google search. It'll show up. I don't even remember. I always forget what the actual name is at this point because it stands for something. It's something broadcasting software, I do believe. So with this software, which is, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. It kind of looks like this. I have it open right now. It's can be a little bit to use. You have to set up a lot of your own stuff. Down here at the bottom, you can see there's a lot of scenes. Scenes are over here, which is my main setup, and then you add sources into the scenes. So right now we're on reactions with no display, which is basically means this is my screen that I sit on. When I'm not watching the video, you'll see it has reactions with Iron Maiden pop up on the screen. It shows just me. It also has my desktop audio still turned on in case I do want to play a video without it being there. You'll still hear the audio. And my mic's on. I also have other options for if I want to stream or if I want to go on Twitch, I could. I have it ready in case I wanted to, and it'll have the chat box show up there. Same thing for YouTube. It'll show me the chat box when I'm streaming live. Widgets, logo, a bunch of stuff is all set up on there. That stuff, I can't really show you how to set it up completely here. There is many video on YouTube that'll go over the basic setup for OBS, then you go from there. But if someone is watching this video and has any specific questions, I will try to answer them in the comments whenever they come by to help out if I can. So that's the only software I use. I don't do a lot of video editing. I used to. If you have more time and you really want like a decent software one and you're kind of familiar with video software, like video like editing software, I use it's called KDen Live, KDEN Live, all one word. You can get it free. It's a little bit more complicated software to work with, but it's free and it lets you do a lot of different things. I would suggest using it. If you're not very familiar with it, I would look it up on YouTube as well on how to use it for your basic needs, because I do find that it gives you a lot of options for saving in different formats. So for instance, when I'm recording, when I used to record through OBS, I used to use a very high format to get the best quality I could, and then I would, when I was doing editing, sometimes the videos were really long, like it would get really big. We were talking about like gigabytes and gigabytes here. I would compress it when I was going in to do some of the editing, and it would bring it down, you know, in size, and I'd lower it down to 1080p instead, because it was basically recording in 4K. So that's kind of the only reason why I used video software. I know you can do a lot more editing. You see in it on other channels, but I'm talking about the most basic you can do. So pretty much everything I do on my channel is done live with OBS. All the different scene changes and all that are all done on there. So that's my basic setup. So OBS is on one monitor. I have a 2-monitor setup, which helps a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it makes it so much easier for my setup, because I like having OBS open on the other screen. If you only have one screen, there is hotkeys that you can set up for OBS. So you're gonna hit certain keys on your keyboard, like to record, switch scenes, which would come in handy as well if you only have one screen. So you don't have to worry so much if you only have one screen. It just takes a little bit extra work to go set up the hotkeys, and that works as well. But for me, OBS is open on one screen, and I have YouTube open on this side. As you can see right now, I have Eric Idle in conversation with Ryan Stiles. I was just watching earlier, just before I was coming on to do this. So as an example, for instance, just to give you a basic rundown of how I run my videos usually. I start recording. As I showed you, I was on reactions with no display. Then whenever I'm done my little intro, I switch over, click on intro to my reaction channel. It pops and plays through this, which I had made on a very basic, it was like logo, like title screen generator online. I've seen it. I've even seen mine there with the flame thing used on another reaction channel before. But you can put in your own picture and all that, which is what I did to make it more mine. Then I bring it back to reactions, no display usually, and that's when it's still this setup. I have multiple different setups. So I have reactions with display. That's when I don't want to go full screen and I still want to have the box open. As you can see, I still have it open in the same way here. I also have full screen reactions. So I have my full screen, same thing. So basically if I make it full screen, obviously, and then on the screen I've got it open in full screen now. I also have reaction doubles. That's for whenever I have someone over, I want the reaction screen to be in the middle, smaller, so you can see both of us sitting next to each other on each side, and then the smaller video in the center. And then the newest one, which I just used the other day with Shadow John, is I have online doubles reaction. So it does put the video in the same spot. It goes full screen. Sorry, not full screen. I had it smaller. This is set up for a website called SyncTube, where we can both play the video together. So if you want to do that with other people, I'm bringing this up as well. SyncTube was great for that. You just create a room. You can make it private so no one can join. You invite the other person with the link, and from there you can add videos to the playlist. You can both pause it, as long as you make them give them privileges, whoever joins the channel. You can both pause it. You can both rewind. You can both add to the playlist. So basically what we did the other day, we chose what we wanted to put. We put all 4 videos that we recorded in the playlist. We just did them, and then when the video was done, we just skipped to the next video, keep going. We both had the option to pause. Mind you, we didn't really do much pausing in our video. We did on the first one, but it felt better just to do it all the way through. It was the way that I know Shadow John usually does it that way, and he prefers to listen to songs all the way through, and I was okay with that for just that, and I used to do it that way as well. So I was okay doing that, since I knew he was more comfortable doing it that way and enjoys it more that way, so I was completely okay with it too. So I decided to change it after that. After the first part of that first video we did, I decided, we'll just go straight through. So that is pretty much the basics to it, without me going into OBS too much, because setting up those scenes is a little bit more work. In the scene screen, you'll have a plus sign where you can add in a bunch of stuff from, I'll give you a few examples, just as a basic here. You basically add in your scene, and then on the scene you add sources. So your scenes are going to be on the far left, and then over here on the right you have all these options. So everything from you have audio inputs, so you can choose whatever audio input, what browser. You can pick the display capture, which just shows your whole display screen. Images to pop up, which is how I have the reactions with me pictured there. You can add a video capture device, so that would be my webcam. Is through that. Window capture lets you pick specific windows that are open, like in browsers, stuff like that. There's game capture, so when you open up a game, it does pop up in the list, but you have to have the game running first. But you can click on game capture and it'll pop up as one of the sources, and then that's set up for the future, which I do have set up. I have a game one set up, but we haven't done any gaming on the channel, so I've chosen not to go over that one. But yeah, that's the basic setup. Now, a few other extra things that I've learned through the years of doing this. Earlier I was talking about video quality. So me, I used to watch reactions a lot for like a year, 2 years before I even started. I was already watching reactions. And one thing, and from what I've learned from other people talking about it as well, this isn't just me, this is from gathering from majority. Basically, if you're anything under 720p, it's going to be detrimental to your channel. People don't want to watch reactions as much. You will get people that will come and watch because they just want to see a reaction, and it's nice. But if you're in 480p, most people don't want to watch stuff in 480p anymore. Most people have it's just such a big jump in quality. So if you don't have the ability to record at least in 720p, I would say don't do it. But if you really want to, you still can. You can give it a go. But I do find a lot of people do not enjoy to watch anything under 720p. And you might still get some people coming by to watch, but it might really, really be detrimental in a way that people might not even give it a try because of that. That's just my heads up for that, but I would say don't, but you still could if you really, really want to and give it a shot. Another thing is, like I said earlier, audio quality using headsets that are not that expensive do make a decent difference as well. Like I said, you could hear me breathing before. It annoyed people, and they let me know. A lot of people let me know they could hear my breathing, and it was annoying. So that can really make people not want to come back to your channel as well. So that's something else maybe to look into to make sure you have a decent microphone and not just the cheapest one you have available. Or make it so that that cheap microphone maybe works for you. I know I used to put my headphone, I used to pop it up out of the way whenever I wasn't speaking to try and avoid that. Speaking of headphones, I actually didn't show the headphones. I had help getting these from the channel at a time where my headphones gave out, and I say like I don't have any money at that time to get new ones, so I'm using I never really go over the brand anymore, but we did go over it at the time. These bad boys right here, the HD 280 Pro from, what was it, Sennheiser? I always forget how to say the name of this company, and I always feel bad. Yeah, Sennheiser studio monitors. I didn't get anything too expensive. I think it was like $150 for these, but they're high ambient noise, studio and live. They're one of the lower ends on their model. I don't even think they make those ones anymore. I think they've updated. But I forgot to mention that earlier in my hardware. I apologize. They're pretty good. They have really good bass, everything. They block out a decent amount of sound as well. So I just wanted to at least bring that up as well before I keep going, since we're talking about sound quality. Other things to keep in mind is you really want to figure out a pattern that works better for you. A lot of people are going to tell you how they think you should do your channel, and you can't please everyone. You have to remember that, and you also have to remember that not everyone's going to like your channel, and you're going to get a lot of negativity, especially maybe more at the start because you're still figuring out what you're doing. And I would say don't let that get to you at the start and make you change your mind right off the bat, because it could just be that you might miss out on a chance after you figured stuff out because you gave up before. I would not give up right off the bat. I know I didn't. I didn't have a great setup at the start. I had a bit of an idea because I'd been watching reaction channels, and that's also another way you could do it, to see how other people are doing it. As you've seen, I don't go in to do video editing after, even though I know that could greatly improve my channel by adding in different elements. I could add in different window effects. I could actually have, like for instance, I'm going to use Tank the Tech because right now he's one of the channels I watch a lot. On his thumbnails on his videos, he has the custom ones with the custom stuff on it. It says the name of the band, the song, usually an impression, maybe even of how he felt about the song in it, and it just looks better in general instead of just having a thumbnail from your video. Stuff like that can really improve the channel and gets you a lot more traffic, because it does come down to how good it looks and your format looking as well, as much as it does for your personality. It's a mixture of everything, and it makes a bigger difference than some people think. It's not always about what you're reviewing and how you review it. How it looks can also make a giant difference in this. And I think that if you really have the time, unlike me, because I really don't have the time to do video editing, just really busy in real life, I just have a couple hours at night to do some recording. But if you have the time, I would go with the video editing, figure out some logos and stuff you want to put on there. It just looks really nice. Go for it. Other than that pretty much covers the basics, I would say. There's more stuff we could go over, but then we're just getting into details. I just say go for it. Like I said, as you heard, I spent If I would have bought everything new, it would have been a few $100s, but as I said, if you can get used stuff, and like I said, you can use a table lamp to start out until you're sure you want to do this and spend money on it. I could have had just a table lamp, cut out the light. I bought the webcam secondhand for 25 bucks, but it is a decent one for 1080p. And then the microphone. That's basically it. Headphones, just so I can hear. But I only have a nice pair of headphones there. You could use Apple Pods, for the AirPods, or even one of the wired ones. As long as you can hear and not have it interfere with your microphone, you're set. And that's under $100. You could be set. Besides the fact that you need a computer that can actually do it. But a lot of people have decent computers just off the bat nowadays, so most likely you can do it. And yeah, other than that, I think it's worth a try if you're really interested. I have a lot of fun with it. I don't take it too seriously. I would say don't come in thinking you're going to make a lot of money, especially doing reactions. I've never worried about the money coming in from YouTube. That's not what I came here for. If I get any at all off of ads, it's just a bonus, and it's really nothing. It's really nothing. It's not the same as making your own original content. You get copyright claims on almost everything, which means you're not allowed to monetize it, and they make the money off the monetization, which is nice for them as well. You're making more money for the groups because you're using their content, and they'll allow you to use it. Sometimes you'll get a copyright strike, and that's not good for your channel. As long as you don't get 3, you won't get cut out, but it does stay for 3 months, so you just can't get 3 in a 3-month period. I've gotten close once, and that was when I was getting into anime, so I would avoid anime on your channels. That really gets copyright strike. But if you're doing reactions to music and stuff, just don't expect to get a lot of money off of it. Don't, if that's what your intention is, don't come for that. Come for the love of music, because that's what a lot of us are here doing. We love music. We love to discover music, talk about it, and it's a fun time. So that's about it for here. Again, if you have any extra questions you want to know, maybe more questions about OBS, maybe more tips that I have a bunch of other tips. I just don't want to get too into detailed. Maybe you have more questions about specific things. You can ask me in the comments, and I will let you know the best of my ability. I'm definitely not the biggest channel on YouTube. I have been doing this for a few years now. And I just have a basic knowledge, but that's what I mean. You just need a basic knowledge to get started, so I'll be glad to try and help you out with that. So you guys make sure you do hit me up. I don't mind at all. You guys have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next video.